The 2005 to 2006 Premier League season began with champions Chelsea spending big on Lyon's Michael Essien and Manchester City's Sean Wright-Phillips. Arsenal captain Patrick Vieira departed for Juventus, while Liverpool signed Southampton's Peter Crouch and Manchester United recruited Edwin van der Sar from Fulham to finally solve their goalkeeper problem. In a sensational deadline day deal, Newcastle pulled off the signing of the summer with the addition of Michael Owen from Real Madrid. The £17 million man did not take long to find the target. In his second Newcastle game, the England international was on the scoresheet alongside veteran forward Alan Shearer and emerging talent Charles N'Zogbia in a 3-0 win at Blackburn. In the title race, Chelsea showed the rest of the league that their tally of 15 goals conceded was no fluke. The Blues started the campaign with 6 successive clean sheets, winning 1-0, 1-0, 4-0, 2-0, 2-0 and 2-0 during that time. Petr Cech's goal was breached for the first time in the league when Luke Moore gave Aston Villa the lead at Stamford Bridge in September. Jose Mourinho's men quickly recovered, with 2 goals from Frank Lampard sealing a 2-1 victory. All eyes were on the 3 promoted clubs, Sunderland, Wigan and West Ham, in the first few weeks of the season. Championship winners Sunderland picked up just 1 point from their first 6 games before beating northeast rivals Middlesbrough 2-0 at the Riverside. Wigan made a dream start to their first Premier League campaign. After losing 1-0 to Chelsea and Charlton, Paul Jewell's side won 8 of their next 9 matches between August and November. Playoff winners West Ham won 3 of their first 5 games, a run that included a Marlon Harewood-inspired 4-0 victory over Aston Villa. By early October, Chelsea were a staggering 9 points clear at the top of the table. Darren Bent, Charlton's summer signing from Ipswich, scored 7 goals in 7 league games to propel the Addicks to second. In the bottom half, 20th-placed Everton were already out of the Champions League and UEFA Cup. Results looked bleak domestically too, with their only league goal so far coming courtesy of Marcus Bent in a 1-0 win at Bolton in August. Arsenal, in their final season at Highbury before moving to the Emirates Stadium, suffered a shock 2-1 loss at West Brom in October, with former gunner Kanu among the scorers. A week later, Arsene Wenger's men beat Manchester City 1-0 thanks to a Robert Pires penalty. Pires had the chance to double Arsenal's lead with another spot kick. Instead of shooting, he tried to pass the ball to Thierry Henry. Pires failed to get a clean connection on the pass, however, allowing David Somé to come away with the ball. "I felt it was a little bit disrespectful for us," Manchester City defender Sylvain Distin told the BBC. 10 games into the season, Chelsea failed to win for the first time in the league when Everton held the Blues to a 1-1 draw at Goodison Park. 2 weeks later, Chelsea suffered their first league defeat of 2005 to 2006 when Darren Fletcher scored the only goal in a 1-0 win for Manchester United at Old Trafford. As a result of the loss, the champions' 40-game unbeaten Premier League run ended. In November, Manchester United captain Roy Keane unexpectedly left the club by mutual consent. The decision came a month after a 4-1 defeat against Middlesbrough. Keane, who did not play in the match, criticised some of his teammates in an unaired interview with the club's in-house television station, MUTV. "Whilst it is a sad day for me to leave such a great club and manager, I believe that the time has now come for me to move on," Keane said. "The best midfield player in the world of his generation, he's already one of the great figures in our club's illustrious history," Sir Alex Ferguson added. On Christmas Day, Chelsea remained 9 points ahead of second-placed Manchester United, while Tottenham, Bolton and Wigan emerged as top 4 contenders due to Arsenal's bad form. Everton climbed up to 16th after a dreadful start. Sunderland were on course for an immediate return to the Championship, and struggling Portsmouth sacked Alain Perrin and reappointed Harry Redknapp, a year after he joined Pompey's rivals Southampton. For the second year in a row, Chelsea began to run away with the title. The special one guided his side to 10 consecutive league wins between November and January. The run included a statement-making 2-0 victory at Arsenal and a hard-fought 3-2 win over Fulham. As Arsenal struggled for form, Arsene Wenger dipped into the transfer market by signing midfielder Abu Diaby from Auxerre and striker Emmanuel Adebayor from Monaco. The Gunners also brought in Southampton's 16-year-old forward Theo Walcott for an initial £5 million, making him Britain's most expensive teenager. Throughout 2005 to 2006, Middlesbrough's inconsistent results caught the eye. While the Teessiders progressed in the UEFA Cup, they suffered a 7-0 loss at Arsenal in January before losing 4-0 at home to Aston Villa in February. The latter result was the final straw for one fan, who threw his season ticket at manager Steve McLaren before being escorted away. 7 days later, Middlesbrough produced one of the shocks of the season with a 3-0 win over Chelsea, ending the Blues' latest 13-match unbeaten run. In February, Blackburn hosted Manchester United in what turned out to be one of the games of the season. David Bentley, playing his first Blackburn game since his loan deal from Arsenal became permanent, opened the scoring after 35 minutes. Louis Saha quickly replied for the visitors before another Bentley goal, and a Lucas Neal penalty gave Blackburn a 3-1 lead heading into half-time. After the break, Bentley scored his third goal in the 56th minute to become the first player to score a Premier League hat-trick against Manchester United. Ruud van Nistelrooy came off the bench to score twice, but his goals were not enough. Blackburn, inspired by Bentley's hat-trick, held on to secure a famous 4-3 win. By the end of March, Chelsea continued to lead Manchester United by 9 points at the top. Liverpool appeared to have third place wrapped up, with Tottenham, Blackburn, Arsenal and Bolton battling for fourth. In the bottom half, Glenn Roeder took charge of Newcastle after Graham Souness's sacking, while Kevin Ball became Sunderland's caretaker boss following Mick McCarthy's dismissal. Brian Robson's West Brom, Steve Bruce's Birmingham and Harry Redknapp's Portsmouth were in danger of going down. In the final 2 months of the campaign, Portsmouth found form when it really mattered. The South Coast club's revival began with a 2-1 win over Manchester City, with Pedro Mendes scoring both goals. Sunderland's relegation was confirmed after a goalless draw at Manchester United, while Birmingham and West Brom suffered the drop after Portsmouth secured safety with a 2-1 win at Wigan. Harry Redknapp received credit for the great escape, with the Portsmouth manager earning the nickname Harry Houdini. At the top, goals from William Gallas, Joe Cole and Ricardo Carvalho saw Chelsea beat Manchester United 3-0 at Stamford Bridge in April. In doing so, Jose Mourinho's men became only the second team, after Sir Alex Ferguson's Red Devils, to retain the Premier League trophy. The match also brought worrying news for England ahead of the 2006 World Cup. Manchester United striker Wayne Rooney fractured a metatarsal bone in his right foot, making him a doubt for the tournament in Germany. With the title decided and bottom 3 wrapped up, the final day story was all about the last Champions League spot. Tottenham, in 4th, travelled to West Ham, while 5th-placed Arsenal hosted Wigan in their final game at Highbury. The day began with the astonishing news that Tottenham wanted to postpone their match after a food poisoning outbreak affected 10 first-team players. The request was denied, forcing Spurs to play despite several players vomiting just minutes before kick-off. Needing only to match Arsenal's result to secure 4th place, they faced a daunting challenge under difficult circumstances. Thierry Henry's hat-trick ensured Arsenal bid farewell to Highbury with a 4-2 win over Wigan, while Martin Jol's off-colour Tottenham lost 2-1 at West Ham. As a result, Arsenal qualified for the Champions League, and the final day controversy, dubbed Lasagne-gate, would live long in the memory. The 2005 to 2006 season ended with Sunderland registering a Premier League record low points tally of 15, breaking their own unwanted record of 19 from 3 years earlier. Middlesbrough, in 14th, lost the UEFA Cup final 4-0 to Sevilla, while manager Steve McLaren agreed to replace Sven-Göran Eriksson as England boss. In the top half, Alan Shearer broke Newcastle's all-time goal-scoring record before retiring. Arsenal lost the Champions League final 2-1 to Barcelona, but at least had bragging rights over North London rivals Tottenham. Steven Gerrard inspired Liverpool to a thrilling FA Cup final penalty shootout victory against West Ham, and title-winning Chelsea finished another remarkable Premier League campaign on 91 points. If you enjoyed this video, click the link on screen for the full story of what the Premier League was like in the 1990s.